Okay, I would like to call the meeting to order at 5:31 p.m. and begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great. Okay. Do we have any additions or deletions from the agenda? I don't have any.
Nope.
None, Sarah?
No, so if you could just make a motion to approve the agenda as
Okay,
written.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as is.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, I am going to make a motion that we approve the orders for 5/22/25 in the amount of $19,835.29 and the payroll for 5/13/25 for $13,886.28 and the additional payroll for 5/27/25 for $13,687.38.
And I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have our minutes here from last week's meeting. So I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes from last week's meeting.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we have our year-end financials. I was able to review these with Jesse, Sarah. It seems, but would you like to go into it in any detail?
Yeah, just so that everybody can hear. Of course, they're not finalized. They're just year-to-date numbers at this time. But we are preparing for the end of June is the end of our fiscal year. Things look good. Jesse has prepared a brief synopsis of some of the budget line items that have come in under budget, both on the expense side, but also increased revenue than budgeted on the revenue side. So things are looking good. We won't know exactly what's where we land until the fiscal year ends and we get all the bills in. But we're following up on some of the outstanding items that should be paid before the end of the year.
What's going on with the law enforcement income?
Yep, that is typically, or that has been trending lower over the last few budget cycles. And so we should receive, a couple $1,000s between now and the end of the fiscal year on that line item, but it is lower than we had budgeted.
So on this year, the next year's budget that we approved at town meeting, did we bring that revenue forecast down? Do you remember, or did we leave it the same?
I have
You don't have it right on hand.
No, I have the town report right in front of me, so I can look that up quick.
Because that'd be something we should red flag if we're down 15,000.
Oh yeah, we have it budgeted for 27,000 for fiscal year 26 as well.
And that's what it was this year? I'm just looking at Jesse's overview. Okay.
So also in your packet is a budget history report, which
Yes.
did Jesse's numbers, and so that you could compare budget side by side.
Yeah. And then what I looked at was we'll get to that when we approve the TextMyGov. Okay, I feel like this is very helpful, and looks like everybody's doing a good job, but I do think we need to remember when forecasting our revenue this upcoming budget cycle that we need to take a look at that income revenue for law enforcement. It seems like there's a lot of people being pulled over in Mendon. It's just...
I mean, Leamy can also provide you with a recap of what's gone on over the last few years with revenue fines, but the state is keeping most of the revenue and not reimbursing the towns with it. So that is a net result of us seeing that trend with the state going forward.
But when the sheriffs pull people over in Mendon, which Alan seems to be pretty consistently out there pulling people over. Does that money go to the state too because it's Route 4, or do we get
Yeah,
that?
a percentage goes to the state, and a small percentage comes back to the town.
Okay. All righty.
And that's on our municipal roads too.
Okay. So announcements. We have our open meeting law, ethics, and conflict of interest and public records training for all Mendon elected and appointed officials June 9th from 6 to 7:30. And I'll talk to Jesse, we need to keep sending out reminders about this so we get some good attendance, because it's so important that everybody takes this training. And that is our next select board meeting, right? Same date?
The same
Yeah.
night.
Same
We'll
night.
have, we'll have a very brief select board meeting and then the training.
Okay. And Sarah Buxton's going to be running that training, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure I wasn't. Because of it.
It's okay.
And so next is public comment. And does anybody in the room have a public comment? Any public comment? Come on.
Nothing?
Anyone online? Public comment?
Yep. Carol's hand is raised.
Okay.
Would like to know when the town is gonna come and fix the problem on Terra Lane on my property. I've got a river flowing. I have got no response over the last 2 weeks. No comment?
It's
You're just
not
gonna
part
let it- You're just gonna let it flow or what?
This is, you need to talk to the road commissioner about this.
I did, and he keeps blowing me off. So I'll ask you, Seth or Megan, why don't you come down here and look at my property and see what's going on? See what the damage the town has done and won't go back and fix it now. I'm trying to do it. I have a license for a garden, and you have water that you've diverted onto my property underneath the road, and I am not able to plant. And it's gonna be May 1st.
It's gonna be June
It's gonna
1st.
be June 1st. Hey Seth, do you want to come and take a look at it real quick for me so you can understand the situation?
I've looked at it before, Brian.
No,
kinda
you didn't. No,
Putting that in
No,
the hands
you
of Chris.
Brian,
actually-
Chris came
you
up
actually-
and said- Brian?
you actually
Chris
looked
came
at
up and said something here.
Lisa's well, but you didn't look at the
Stormwater.
stormwater. It's not even stormwater. There's water flow undermining the road. It's going underneath the road to my property. Like it's destroying my property, Seth. Come and look at it. And that's from last year when the town crew came and put a brand new culvert in the property across the street to divert all the water to my property, which doesn't make any sense. Why are you diverting it to another person's property on purpose? Why didn't they just leave it at his property?
Brian?
Why are you taking, it sounds like you're taking choices.
You're
I
2
can
minutes
take over
up,
if you
Brian.
want.
Say what?
Now it's my 2 minutes.
Okay.
Hey! Yeah, this is my 2 minutes, right? Listen,
Yep.
this problem has been going on for 5 years now. When we started excavating our property and clearing the lot to develop, we found multiple sources of water coming from multiple properties in our neighborhood that is damaging our property.
A violation of
Oh,
402.
27.
Clearly.
So listen, if nobody's gonna come and do this, we intend to take litigation against the town and against all of our neighbors and past neighbors. So I just want you guys to know this, that you are creating such a detrimental implication to our town. You created that when you did the work for Gordon Stake, diverting the water more onto our property. So listen, Sarah is the road commissioner. She's in charge of the road commission. She's not doing anything. She won't give us any information. I've asked multiple times for different FOIA requests, and I want that one, especially for the ARPA grant.
I see that
Shut up.
bitch getting fucking pizzas from fucking little.
Yeah. So yeah, I see you around town when you're supposed to be at work, Sarah. I see that you're not really working.
So your 2 minutes is up. Thank you for your input. All righty. So, we had a department head meeting last week, and it was called to my attention that the Heather Lane, which exists both in Mendon and in Rutland town, the street names, and they have the same zip code. So there's a lot of confusion right now with packages being delivered to the wrong town. And most importantly, people are concerned about the 911 implications. So I am going to go to, so we have more homes on our Heather Lane, more addresses established on our Heather Lane than they have in Rutland town. So we are going to ask that they change the name of that road in their town. So I'm going to go to their select board meeting and discuss this and a couple other things too, that ongoing that Fred and I have had. I mean, it's not just Heather Lane, but that is the worst, right? Sarah, the other one is, that's the only one that directly affects Rutland town, right?
Correct.
One of the things that came up in the meeting is why can't Mendon have its own zip code? And I don't know the reason for that. I don't know why we can't have our own zip code, but
I think we would need our own post office. That's fine.
we need a post office to do that. Yeah,
It's like Chittenden, it's a different zip code.
yeah.
Mhm.
So anyway,
We don't have a post office.
so so anyway, that's something that I'm going to go, and I know, Fred, you had something else we were going to discuss. Oh, the speed signs.
Yeah, whether they would put one on the southbound, Southport Town Line Road.
So I did go, interestingly enough, the ones are still up on Post Road. They're permanent. They're permanent now.
Oh, they had,
It has,
they taken their old school sign and kind of stuck a temporary one.
it has
They would do-
the speed limit sign, and then it says you're going this fast.
Yeah.
Because I drove my bike back faster than the speed limit the other day. I was on
Be
my
careful.
e-bike. So anyway, but we do want to talk about that. I also think we want to talk to them about enforcing the speed limit, having them have a little more presence on Town Line Road than they have currently.
And I don't know whether Chris has spoken with their road people as to installation issues, maintenance issues,
No,
power, solar power versus all that.
he's not talking to them at all because they haven't agreed to do it. You mean
Chris
Chris?
talked about the town, about their experience putting in their two signs.
Oh, he's talking to Killington. He's talking to somebody up at Killington that put them in, the same ones that we have. I guess
Ours are a little different, I think.
we've got ours through the same people Killington did.
Right.
So, Chris is working on that, but I do think it'd be great if they put one on their side.
I did bring it up.
We're talking about those, this is your speed limit
Yep, I
signs.
love those signs.
I did bring it up in an email to their select board person who was assigned to speed limit.
Yes.
And to Bill Sweet again. I didn't get a response
Okay,
from 4 days ago.
okay. I saw that email, but that was over the holiday weekend, so, yeah, so, I mean, just for you all sheriffs, do you feel like those signs help?
Oh, I think so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They get their attention, and it makes it easier to write tickets. And I say, hey, it's your speed limit, your speed. The first indication was that sign flashing,
Yeah,
that was,
Right.
slow down.
yeah.
Right.
The biggest issue that I have with Town Line Road, when I was assigned to Mendon, I would try to spend at least an hour each day on the road.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of good spots to sit and park. And
That's
so
so
what I would do is I would run my radar while I was moving, just drive up and down.
Mhm.
And I get maybe a couple stops for speed. There's just not a lot of good places, and especially safe places, because you can't get the cruiser all the way off the road. There's a lot of hills and blind corners. It's just kind of
And it
unsafe.
makes it dangerous for stopping too.
It makes it very dangerous to stop as well. So as much as we would love to be on that road more and do more, because of the geography of that road. I mean, obviously, I know you guys want more, and we'll try our best, but the road is tough.
Yeah.
And the other thing, I remember back when you were looking at those signs, you said you couldn't do them on Route 4 because it was a federal.
Yeah, because you can't, the speed limit's too
And have
low.
flashing stuff and blue lights and.
So even though we've ordinance that part to 45,
Yeah, I think, what did it say, Fred? It's 40, it can't be under 50 to have,
Unbeknownst to me, it's 35.
It has to be 35 or under.
35 or
that
less.
explains why they can do it Woodstock then as you're coming in. Because Woodstock has a blue light.
And the
Right.
reason for that is it's not a state road.
I think that's why they lowered Killington Access Road to 35.
Because that's not a state.
Well, it's 30 now.
Oh, it's 30
Oh,
now.
it's 30, oh, yeah.
yes, it
People
is.
doing 65.
So those communities.
I might have stopped.
Their own portion
Yeah.
of 4, like Bridgewater and whatnot, do their own budgeting and dating and whatnot, they can put up the flashing blues. But if it's the state
Which this
control road,
is.
which this is, then you have just the sign, the basic sign.
Because that was a question that Brian Gates had actually asked me back when we were first talking about it, because he mentioned the sign of Woodstock, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think putting them on town line is a very good idea.
And Meadow Lake, we determined a place on Meadow Lake, because that's another hard place to even find one, to put one, but we think we've figured out, Chris has figured out a spot. So we have those signs already, we just have to get up, so we've got 2. So we're gonna put one on Meadow Lake and one on Town Line.
May I ask a question about the same topic?
Yep,
I'd like to formally approach the sheriff department again and use their mobile device, where the state police had their mobile device last fall until they pulled it because of weather. My understanding is that the sheriffs have a more modern one that works all the time. It also can record data and have retrievable data.
yeah.
And the question is whether we get charged from it for different views, but
Well, I don't know if these, we have a contact at the sheriff's department, because you guys probably don't have the knowledge or authority about
That's
it.
like
I think you have to, it used to be, you had to reach out to Lieutenant Cross, he was the one that moved it, and then towns would basically schedule time. Last I knew it was like down south in like Clarendon, Wallingford somewhere, but towns basically have to schedule time and we bounce around it, whoever needs it.
Okay,
It's a very nice card, very new, collects all the data on a USB drive that you can read real easy. The state police one that they had,
did not collect data.
and you can just
Okay.
tell by looking at the thing.
so Sarah, did you hear that? Just,
Yeah, so just some little information for the select board is our contract renews with the sheriff as of July 1st. So we expected to be speaking with Sheriff Fox in the upcoming weeks to get a draft contract and we can contact, or we can talk to him about the mobile unit at that time.
okay. Yeah, that's right, I met with him, has that already been a year that I met with him?
It might be Kevin Gino who's in charge of the.
He usually doesn't move the cart, usually it's just kind of cross. Either way.
Yeah, so that's who we're meeting with.
We'll get in contact with somebody.
So do you want to pursue it? Do you want me to
Yeah,
pursue
so
it?
we'll pursue that.
Yep.
Sarah, you and I,
Especially if we don't have to pay for it.
yeah. The next item is the TextMyGov, which we brought up, we talked about at our last meeting, neither of you were here, but we are signing a contract tonight with a service that gives us, so that we'll be able to send out text alerts to people in the town to get more interaction going in town, like so people will be notified via text, town meeting, voting, your property taxes are due, and then Chris will then also use it for road closures, and if it's gonna snow, like this is what we're seeing, weather, we're seeing this up in the higher elevations, stay home. But it's an interesting thing because we get everybody that has a cell phone number in Mendon, we get those numbers, then we send out a message to say, do you want to opt out of this or be part of receiving these text messages? They're like the alerts you get for bad weather and stuff. But we're going to be able to streamline it and use it for us to hopefully get some more engagement from our community members in Mendon. We feel like most of our members in our community have cell phones, and, we'll be able to take advantage of that. So we're signing a 2-year contract for that tonight because it wasn't in next year's budget, it wasn't this budget, but we have an extra, enough money in computer services left over from our budget from this year to pay a 2-year contract. So we're gonna go ahead and sign a 2-year contract, and then, hopefully it'll build and get more and more engagement.
And then
So-
we'll budget it for the following.
Then we'll budget it the following year.
Megan, let me just clarify, that contract in front of you is for a 3-year contract.
Oh, that's 3 years.
Yes, that's 3 years. The payment that we've agreed to right now is for 2 of the 3 years, because the 3rd year needs to be budgeted
Yeah.
in the fiscal year 27 budget. So
Right, so we have,
for the fiscal year 25 and 20, or, out of the fiscal year 25, we're going to be paying for 2 years of the first 2 years of the contract. Then we'll be able to budget for the last year. So it was the 4,600 to be authorized out of computers and computer services from the fiscal year 25 budget. If you could authorize that and authorize the signature of the 3-year contract.
okay. So I did sign the 3-year contract. Do we need to make a motion?
Yeah, you want to make a motion, because the last time we just garnered support from the select board, but this is the formal authorization.
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion that we sign the $4,600 expense from sign the TextMyGov contract and covering that expense from our computer services budget from FY25.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye. Sarah, the next item on the agenda was appointing Steve Molloy. Did you hear from him?
Yes, and I forwarded you his letter of interest. So he has
Okay.
submitted a letter of interest to the select board to fill a representative role for the town of Mendon on the regional airport, the Rutland Regional Airport Committee.
Okay, so I'm going to make a motion that we appoint Steve Molloy as our delegate to the Rutland Regional Airport Commission so he will represent Mendon as they had requested.
I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the Rutland Regional Plan feedback for 2026. Seth got here in time, and we've discussed it. I got him reading it. We didn't discuss anything about it, and he has now read it.
Yep, I've read it.
And I know that I would like to put my name on that letter. And that's what you're asking for us to do, right, Sarah? Whether we want to have our names attached or not?
Yeah, it's very helpful that all 3 members of the select board are in support of that letter, because they did they wanted comments consolidated to make sure that we weren't getting different opinions per board that they encompass. So we do have a quorum of the select board as a unanimous support of the feedback, and we have members of the planning commission that also have signed their name to the letter.
And this planning commission has already passed this in their meeting, or are they still yet to do that?
Well, 3 members.
Fred said they passed it.
Mhm.
But the
And-
letter's we've added to the letter the Route 4 extension, ask for the Route 4 extension down to Town Line Road. We added, I talked to Sarah over the weekend and she edited it, and it's in the new draft of the letter. So, so I think that's great. And so are you, because she's gone, are you sending that through, that
Yes.
on?
Yes, I will follow through with it. We just need to add the 3 select board members to the letter, and then I'll forward it to Logan and Sarah, or Logan and Stephanie Burke. Logan, yeah.
Okay. Do I need to make a motion that we do that, or are you just wanting Seth and I to both say we'd like to have our names added to it?
Yeah, I think as a town, maybe you should move to submit the letter for feedback for the regional the Rutland Regional Plan for 2026, and then I'll attach this letter to the minutes.
Okay, all right, so I'd like to make a motion that we send our input, our feedback for the Rutland Region Plan for, the 2026 Rutland Regional Plan, as was presented by Sarah Buxton to the Select Board.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so with that said, that was the end of our agenda items, so I would like to move that we adjourn the meeting.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.